We got 5,
now.
4.
We're up now.
It's a delay, so I do know that. Hey, what could go right goes wrong. We found a solution to try to get us able to share the
Well, it's shared. It's shared. I got that done. It is the Monday edition of the Sports Den after that crazy weekend for me, dude. Like
crazy weekend sports, crazy weekend.
I don't think I watched. I watched about 15 minutes of football only because it was playing in the gym.
Okay, you were working?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, because the Gators were off, Jags were off. So it's like, okay, let me put some time in. And then on top of that, we're moving.
Yeah.
So we started that whole thing. And crazy times. Crazy times. But we got a lot to talk about. It's Florida Georgia week, which means that ABC Fine Wine and Spirits is going to be setting sales records. And you need to participate. You know how you businesses set records and people are excited. Let's push ABC to a record week. It's gonna be hard though because COVID. They were
crushing it. I gotta ask Guat. I asked Guat what the record, what the store record is.
Yeah, we need to. That's what we need to do. We need to find
they do region
specific stores. Oh, I'm sure they've got it. Down.
We got one. The town center is the one that they'll lift you up.
Well, that's true. If you're short, go to the town center. They'll lift you up to get to the good stuff. But get to ABC Fine Wine and Spirits, and it's Florida, Georgia. And you don't have to be a Florida or Georgia fan to feel the excitement in the city every year. It's kind of like TPC. You don't have to be a golf fan, right? Go drink the good stuff, and the weather's gonna be unreal.
I tell you, if you have a good enough party, I'll ponder it. As long as it's in a safe area that I can actually get to.
James said that. I won't.
Yeah, no, I'm just I'm down to drink. The cool Gator fans. There are some of you. Now a lot of y'all don't have me trust. We do have Green Acre Sporting Goods sponsorship too. We'll do flash photography if you get too crazy. Maybe I need to hang out with Georgia fans.
But here's the problem. Every fan base has their cool fans, but where that goes away is when they get drunk.
Right.
This is a public service announcement. Drinking does not make you cooler. It makes everybody around you more tolerant. If everybody's drinking.
True.
And I don't like to drink around crowds because it just gets
it gets weird.
So then everybody gets really annoying to me.
Yeah. I just always tell people, don't let the alcohol get you in situations that your hands can't get you out of.
And they're getting another problem because then when you get drunk, you think your hands can get you out of things.
That's right. But if your chin is, you should know. If you don't know by now, if your chin's never been tapped at this point, just don't test it. It's just have a good time, good vibes. It's a great weekend.
Yeah,
I like weekends like this because of what it does for the city of Jacksonville. All Hallows Eve is something that is a celebration with my Halloween.
Oh,
All Hallows Eve is
okay,
but I've come to like it more with my kids being younger. Me being a cool dad.
My 10-year-old's bump it. I don't even want trick or treat.
Your 10-year-old is extremely cool.
Well, he's very mature.
And I think also 10 is about when we stop really caring about it.
My 10-year-old's don't turn the lights on.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody coming over here.
We would walk and we would do stuff, but we went from, I joked with people, I had the one costume coming up. I got it when I was 5. It was oversized. It was the mask. They had the plastic mask. And I think it was Cookie Monster or something.
Oh.
Or maybe I was Batman. I don't know. By the end of it, it was a G-string. So I had to stop wearing this. I could actually, by the end of it, all I could wear was the mask. It was just the mask. So we just said, you know what? We're goons. We're gangsters. That's what we're gonna walk around as ourselves, put the candy in the bag, or we're coming and asking for more.
Listen, just piece of advice to you in this. I know when we grew up, it was looked at as innocent, but now's not the time for you people who maybe are a little bit low in resources. Don't put holes in a white sheet and call your kid Casper.
Yeah, it's never.
You could be innocent. It could be an innocent thought, but we just don't. It's not the right time.
And I'm not one
And
of
what
those.
family hasn't had to get to that? Like, I think I was Casper a year or something.
It's
like,
a very easy costume.
Yeah,
It's just the problem is you don't know how the kid's head shaped, and if
right,
it's a little pointy,
yeah,
now you got to answer stuff for no reason when you could have just.
that could be an issue. By the way, however your Monday has started off, it has started off better than Miles.
Oh no.
Yeah, Miles gets to the house and opens his book bag and ready to partake in his lunch, which was a protein shake, but it had spilled all in his bag. Yeah,
that stinks.
Yeah. So Miles is now drinking a vegan protein shake from my refrigerator because that's all we got here. So, but a lot to get into.
Drinking a protein shake for lunch is just, and you're not like prepping for like a weight competition or bodybuilding. It just doesn't sound fun in general.
It was not fun.
Okay.
But not all of us.
Like if your Monday started with, I don't know, a sandwich, your Monday is better than Miles is right now.
Bro, that could be my hate o'clock, but I'm not gonna get in there.
Starting with a sandwich?
No, like I could go without food for 10 weeks and still put weight on right now. Like it is exhausting and it's pissing me off. But anyway, a couple things I want to get to. The Jags were off, so we're not gonna get to a lot of Jag stuff, if any. We will be heavy Florida, Georgia, even Florida State, Clemson a little bit in just a minute. But this Tom Brady stuff. If you missed it yesterday, he threw what it was 600.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. That's a lot of touchdown passes. That's a whole lot of touchdown passes. And his receiver gave the ball to someone in the end zone. Mike Evans. I don't blame Mike. That's not like, okay.
That's what people do.
It was very nice of him. And so the narrative today, and I think we even put out a poll, is what would you have demanded to return the ball?
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen a lot of responses, some good ones. JJ, I thought, had the best one.
No, it wasn't.
Robert Kraft tape?
No, nobody want to see that, man.
You get a lot of money from TMZ.
You would get a lot of money. I'm just saying nobody.
JJ's thinking transactional.
Okay, fair. Like you probably would get more money.
Right.
From somebody. Yeah, I can see that.
But
it's
here's
like flipping the trans. It's flip.
Right.
It's a flip.
Right. Here's though where my mind went right away. Is this great? And I keep bringing in the responses. That's dope. But there's a lot of you that are like business majors, I guess, because in the spur of the moment, you would have thought to negotiate and call an auction house. And like, I don't think I would have. Like, you know what I mean? Spur of the moment, I probably would have been like, yo, man, this dude's here.
The $500,000 or the $100,000, 100K
100 mil
was a little bit like with the auction. Like, yeah, that might be the value.
But you wouldn't have thought about it at the time.
I would have been like, what I'm not gonna give it to you for is $1,000. And this is just me. And this is so.
But be realistic. You're telling me this is what you would have thought real time? In
real time. Like,
okay.
And I have an example for it. When we went to go in an example where it goes good for you and it goes bad for you. The UFC fight that was here in Jacksonville, where shout out to Lenny, Mayor Curry, phenomenal seats. We could, like, when they were walking in, George Masvidal, I think that's how you say his name. Anyways, Game Brett, big time, one of the more charismatic guys in UFC, takes his jacket off, his warm-up jacket, throws it into the crowd. Somebody offers the guy $1,000 on the spot for it. I know for a fact that Tom Brady's 600 game ball, something that nobody's ever done, is worth more than a jacket that guy wore the next fight. Even though he got his behind whooped, and worth less now that he got his behind whooped. Somebody offered him $1,000. He decided to keep it. They offered him, somebody else offered him more. Now it's not worth anything. Well, outside of the memories that he has.
Right.
I said, if I would have caught it, I would have upped it to about $2,000. I have a rule. If I have it in my pocket or I have it to where I'm about to it's something disposable, that's not what you can negotiate it to me for. Like Tom Brady's 600 game ball, $1,000. I got $1,500 in my pocket right now.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you can't offer him in $1,000 of Tampa Bay Bucks cash.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even tangible. It's not even real money. So like, now maybe I say that, but if you're saying, listen, we're gonna give you $1,000 and we're gonna let you come meet Tom Brady and the guys right after the game. Okay, maybe because I could get some more things, but I'm gonna hold off for at least 5 figures. It's a 5-figure moment. I'm not saying it's 75, 100, but you could get 10. Tom, if he would have kept that to after the game, Tom Brady would have gave him $10,000 by himself.
See, that's where I would. Here's what I would have done in
this
real
is just
time.
Me logically, real time thinking about it.
There's no way I would have thought about value or auction house or anything like that. But real time, what I would have done is, here's my information. Y'all call and make me an offer tomorrow.
I think that's what I put. I think getting him. Like, this is where you know that this is a solid person. And this solid person was taking advantage of it. Hopefully, because I saw Tom Brady.
Yeah, I think they're gonna make it right.
Had a he's gonna make. I hope that they go back. But to the people, they had a job to do. We got to get this done quick. We need, because they probably want to go get it engraved or whatever the stuff that they do, like to present it to them after the game. They wanted to make this quick. But I would have at least the value of what I spent. What I'm willing to spend during the season, and maybe that's the $1,000 a buck. I would have needed, so you could have gave him things that don't really cost the Bucks any money. I want a season where you're at. Those are going to be, well, if you're a season ticket holder, we got you next year. Don't even worry about it. We'll give you some concession food. You need parking, I got you with like things that you're going to get the money back from this person anyway. But things that this person actually spends their own money on already,
right,
that you're actually relieving them of. And like, to me, it's so like, you got to think business because that's what they are. And luckily it was a big enough deal. So again, I think Tom is going to look even better when he comes
doubt. He knows
and
the
deal. People talking,
Tom knows the deal.
A date with Giselle does absolutely nothing if you can't seal the deal.
That, dude.
If you can't seal the deal.
Come on now.
And that's no disrespect because that guy.
That guy's just being funny. He's just being funny.
But I'm just saying, but like, what does it do? Like, okay, great. I got some pictures taken. Giselle's gorgeous. I got pictures taken to marry. We know. I know I'm not Tom Brady. Unless there's some other obligation that's after that, that does absolutely nothing for me, and I might not even want that.
Yeah, I really think that in the heat of the moment, like, I probably would have done what that guy did. I probably would have been like, here, take the ball. Like, I want to believe the best in people, and okay, if it's worth anything, they'll take care of me. But I know for a fact what I wouldn't have. Yeah, done.
I'm not giving it. Well, I'm not giving it to you for $1,000 of bucks. And I'm not, whatever they call it. And I'm, like you said, I want to let the emotion.
Yeah.
I will meet with you. The goal is to figure out how to get. It would be like I'm an attorney or something. Like, I want you to have this ball as much as anybody. Let's just talk about it tomorrow. We will leave.
Here's my contact info.
Like, let's negotiate.
Like, you think about it. Let me think about it. Call me tomorrow with your best offer. It
could have been even like a really fun. This is me thinking all the other stuff. Could have been a fun marketing thing. Still can be. But go get, let's say if it was in Jacksonville, what's my man's name who's doing Tiger Kings? John Phillips. Get an attorney. Get him in.
Here's what would have happened. If you play it that way, yeah, you're taking the emotion out of it. But now there's all these investors and collectors and all that. Right. That's going to find you.
That are going to find you.
They're going to find you. And at the end of the day, like, I would give the ball to Tom Brady for significantly less than I would give it to an investor.
Right. So the valuation is $500,000 with somebody and I think they just pulled that out their ass.
Yeah,
but if we were going, I would put, because I think you could do this on eBay. I'm about to say eBay, well, that's tennis shoes. You can put the auction ends on this date, or
somebody said that. Somebody like Tom Brady can buy it that way.
Tom Brady, $100,000, whichever comes first. Whichever, you got to prove. You got to prove that you're Tom Brady. Like Tom Brady.
You have to meet me and give me that certified check.
You're not doing it on eBay. You got to meet me. But I think it just keeps adding to the legend. This is, again, if Tom comes back, makes it right. It adds to even more of the legend of Tom Brady being a solid person.
Yeah.
And a person that can go different ways.
He's playing better than he's ever played. It's unbelievable. I mean, he's like, if you watch the balls he's throwing, he's out there literally playing with defenses now. Like, Miles, what is that look for? Okay, you can't be giving that look when we can see you, because I thought we just did 20 minutes for no reason.
Yeah, like you guys have no sound.
Yeah.
Nah.
He, like, a couple years ago, the question was, is he done? Is he washed? Bro, he's so far from washed right now.
It's almost aggravating.
Oh, very much aggravating.
Because I appreciate no. Not aggravating what he's doing now. I appreciate everything that they did with the Patriots. I'm not a Patriots fan. I love excellence.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've said it on our show before. I love when teams go defeated, and I love when they go undefeated. Like it is very difficult to do both. I wonder though, and we kind of saw this preview when they went 18-0. Or was it 16-0? Excuse me. No, my bad.
It went 16, 17, 18,
18
lost 19.
And then lost 19. When they had Randy Moss and they were able, like he had weapons. Like, could they have been better if they would have just tried a little bit more? Like, now I want to know.
It almost adds to him though. Like, that's why
truly reset these record books. Like,
no
not
doubt.
had to play until he's 60 years old. Like, just
he still would have, but
I mean, yeah, maybe. But I'm just saying, like, and now
is he playing? Is he playing at 50?
If it keeps going this way, he's not getting touched.
There's like no way that you could argue no, right?
He's the only person that I can honestly say, all right, yeah, he would play.
I mean, people were talking about Justin Fields' body language yesterday, and he had a bad day. The Bear, by the way, the Bears, I don't know who's calling their plays, but they need to be fired right away. They're not even giving Justin Fields a chance to succeed.
Well, it's pretty much been the Bears for some years. I thought it was just Mitch Trubisky, but it's
right.
It's systemic.
It's really, really bad. But imagine, like, you're 22 years old. You just got done running a 4.3 whatever at the combine. You can throw a ball 70 yards. And then there's this 44-year-old out there who can't run a 6 flat, and he is working your ass. You would have that same body language. Just dumb it down and go to your local park and go find that, like, real G'd up old guy that's going to post your butt up with the knee braces.
Post you up. He's smelling like Bengay, and he's just underhand bank shot.
Yeah. You walk away with that same, but I ain't mad at you at all, Justin. Like, you should have had that body language. Like, that was
his shorts are all the way jacked up. He
limped out there.
He's hand checking you. You're trying to use your athleticism, and he just knows angles, and he's cutting you off. It's frustrating. But no, Tom,
he's picking and rolling you in a street game.
Yeah, basically, Tom, and then he's got guys who we were all like, all right, they're done, and we're cool with it. Like Gronk. Even though it amazes me that people say Gronk, because he's been so successful since he's been in the league, that you realize, oh, he's really young still. Like, he's got some tread on his tire. Like, I don't think if he's over 30, it's just now.
I'm gonna look it up because I don't know.
Yeah, he's not as old.
I assume he's like 33.
Right. So you got him. AB is actually acting right. You got Richard Sherman coming in coaching when he's when he's hurt. You got Leonard Fournette. We haven't heard, which I thought the stuff with Leonard Fournette here at Jacksonville was overrated and overblown. Haven't met him a couple times. But Leonard Fournette, not one bet, no helicopters following him.
He's 32.
Okay, yeah. Still relatively young. No helicopters following Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette giving you some quality snaps.
Mm-hmm. Ronald Jones.
Right. It's just you just sit there and think it's what the Patriots were with talented veterans. So, like, not like their veterans knew how to play, right? I'll give them that. But now you've got talented veterans that had a skill set that was really, really good, mixed with some young players that are really, really good, combined with a quarterback that literally just gives you a cheat code.
Well, Florida Tom Brady, personality-wise, is far superior. Like, his commercials are funnier. I don't even remember him really doing commercials.
He didn't really do. He did his radio show
with the
jerks. But really what happened, the only time you saw a sprinkle into the personality of Tom Brady is, and this is why I always tell people, you got to be careful with the political stuff. That it's two people you can vote for, 50% going to be mad at you anyway. Mm-hmm. So, like, yes, he liked Trump. That was better than somebody else. Whatever. He also likes Migos. He legit hangs out with Migos after Super Bowls, dances, does their songs, all that stuff. Like maybe there's a duality. Maybe people are complex.
What?
Maybe Trump.
Why do people care?
People care because they have to fake care about something. They have to be fake outraged.
But when did that? Has that always been a thing?
No, it hasn't. To speak of a guy who,
like, were there people when Reagan was in?
No, I'm gonna give you the perfect example because this is where comedy's changed. So Dave Chappelle, who's offended people, if you listen to him, his entire career, that's what good comedians do. Killing Him Softly was the first introduction outside of Half Baked that I got to Dave Chappelle, and he was talking about it was an election year. And he was saying like how white people don't talk about who they vote for. Mm-hmm. It's a secret. He's like, it's a trade secret.
I remember that.
He's like, they'll tell you every other illicit detail about their life, but don't talk that who they vote for is a personal matter. And he was just like, hey man, election, who you got? Hey, who I vote for is my God-given right. That's personal. Now listen, me and the wife on Sundays we get a little frisky. And we were doing this. Hey, I want to hear about your wife. Hey, Dave, I'm trying to tell you something about my wife. You keep asking me all this personal stuff.
Yeah.
I wish it could go back to that because you can assume and you don't really care. Because but like it is funny because the people who say keep the politics out of sports, right, are the first ones to cheer him because he votes for who they like. Which I'm like, if you want the politics out of sports, you shouldn't care who he likes.
My preacher put me on game on this. This was not this past election, but the one before. He said it better than anybody I've ever heard. He said, why are we going to sit here and talk about two people that couldn't even pass the background check to watch the kids in our nursery?
That part.
Like
that part, especially this past one, there was some creepers, man.
So it's like when he said that, it just kind of hit me like, oh my gosh, like that's so true. All right.
Another fun thing is that it goes back to just like with fan bases, like when the off season happens, something's going to happen to where some pseudo racist is going to come out. Like this past off season, we found. Well, if you knew, I knew about it a couple of years ago, but it got put back up, Doak Campbell Stadium, and Doak Campbell stands. Yeah. And you saw Gator fans, see, that's why you shouldn't go there. See, they're racist. And some of my more logical, he's like, do you know what some of the people who are major, like O'Connell and some of these other people are named after? We might not want to have people dig it up. But the point is, let's stop playing I'm less racist. They're more racist than my racism. Like, that doesn't cancel the racism.
Well, let me ask you something. Because on our show, you speak for all black people. So when somebody says something like that, what percentage of black people even care?
Which one? Like that look at their fan base as racist?
No, like when they bring up like when there's a Doak Campbell Stadium,
like the Doak Campbell thing was shocking.
Whatever it is,
the Doak Campbell thing was shocking to black people because a lot of black players were shocked because we didn't know.
Okay,
but then a lot of
2 days later, who cared?
They were like, just name it after. Then we were like, okay, well, fine, bump that guy. Name it after Bobby. Like, why don't you just name it after
Bobby?
And
then Snoop was like, oh,
Bobby.
hell no.
Yeah,
Snoop was like, no, double name it Doak.
Yeah. No, that's PK.
Oh, PK, my bad. PK was
Snoop loves Bobby.
My bad. That's my fault. My bad, Snoop.
Yeah. PK was like, don't name it.
PK was like, name it Doak Campbell Stadium.
Oh shit! PK actually watches our show.
Well, he get a good laugh on a Monday,
funny, man. Because I give him I give people. I say that all the time. Like I tell some of the players, I'm like, hey, all of his former players are good. PK's a little weird, but he's cool too. It's like, trust me, he's not as bad as what people think. But the main majority of it is you're not steering recruits clear because you know what? We've all dealt with every fan base with some crazies, and that's just But again, that my whole point is that when it comes to that stuff, but Tom Brady is actually an interesting guy, and I think he's every guy. Well, every guy fantasized to be a dad bod built guy with a supermodel wife.
He is not a dad bod. Because if he's dad bod, then I am freaking obese.
Let me rephrase that. You're different, bro. Like he just because
I mean, compared to the other guys in his locker room,
other athletes, the other 1%.
Because we're around the same age, bro. So when you start talking about him,
he's never stopped. Like when you've never gotten out of it, man.
Here's a good go to executive force, because if you want to look like Tom Brady, if you want to feel like Tom Brady, if you want to perform like Tom Brady, you're not going to. But if you want to come close, if you want to be your best, you go to Northeast Florida Executive Health and Med Spa. Right. Like testosterone helps. Recovery helps. Going to see a real doctor and getting into good shape and being able to function, that helps. So you don't need to walk around feeling unenergized or like you don't want to do anything, or you're bent out of shape because you can't do what you used to do when the doors are closed in the master bedroom or wherever you freaky people do it. You can go to Northeast Florida Executive Health and Med Spa. They can help you with that. You're not going to become Tom Brady, but they need to have like a Tom Brady plan.
I mean, when I go in there and talk to the doctor, I got to go do some videos. We can come up with like, how does a normal person do what Tom Brady does?
Right.
That's what we need to know.
On a normal person budget.
Yeah.
Because Tom Brady's one of these, spends like $3 million a year.
Well, I mean, I don't believe Tom Brady really is doing it. Like, not to your pastor. I think there's something in there. You're doing something, Tom. But hey,
after their Super Bowl parade, I believe that he don't ever drink.
Oh, well, yeah. But that is drinking. Like
that man got drunk on O'Doul's.
Yeah. People say about drinking, man, when you can get wasted a lot of different ways. But I think we can. That's something that people do need to know. How do you become the Tom Brady of your flag football league?
There you go. Northeast Florida Executive Health and Med Spa. Get over there. Check them out. They're over off of St. John's Bluff. Is that right? Yeah, St. John's Bluff. Go check them out. I want to circle back around to Florida, Georgia, but I want to start with Florida State because there's 3-game win streak. There's a different energy now than what there was 3 games. Night and day. Night and day.
When you win, that helps.
UMass may be the worst football team I've ever seen in my life.
Facts.
That may, but that doesn't. I don't want to take away from Florida State. There's still a 3-game win streak.
I'm gonna be honest with you. That gives me more hope against another Massachusetts team we played, because that team put 28 points.
Did they really?
They
really?
They gave them everything they wanted.
I think they beat UConn, which somebody told me that today. That blows me away.
Which I told when I was, I go on Saturdays. I go and have a beverage and a cigar at a local area.
Okay.
And Big Leon Searcy is always there. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of trash talking and shenanigans going on. And he was talking about how we lost to an FCS team. And I said, well, UConn, I said, it is like, oh, you just beat UMass. I'm like, well, UMass has the same amount of FBS wins as the University of Miami. I was like, so what are we talking about here? Like, so like, that's just good, friendly.
Right.
Talking back and forth.
But the thing that a couple things about FSU real quick. They got a chance this week. Clemson's bad. Clemson's really bad. And thank you for sharing Trent's thing and saying what you said. If you missed it, Trent Dilfer said that whatever they're doing at Clemson's terrible to quarterbacks, that Trevor was worse than when he got there and DJ's regressing. And if you listen to our show, I said that in like May.
Yeah, right. Right at right after before the draft.
It was before the draft.
Because it
actually was.
He was with Jordan Palmer and he was doing some drill.
You're right.
And people were just like, you're nitpicking, which you kind of were, but to your defense, it wasn't like all right, I'm bored. Let me go find something to break down Trevor Lawrence like everybody else was. It was like, nah, and then those flaws reared their head earlier in the season.
You know what? You're right. It was January.
It wasn't
because remember he did his pro day in February.
It was after his pro day because it was after he had the shoulder surgery.
Okay.
He was rehab. So,
but the bottom line is like the Clemson thing is interesting to me, because a couple things have happened at Clemson. Jeff Scott left, and I don't remember their offensive coordinator's name.
Tony Elliott's the offensive.
Tony Elliott,
but Tony Elliott's not the quarterback coach.
Okay. Since Jeff Scott left, and Tony Elliott was being talked about as a potential head coach in other places and stuff like that. That offense hasn't looked the same. I'm not making this about Tony Elliott. I'm just in a bigger picture. Clemson hasn't been the same, even with Trevor, as they were when Jeff Scott was there.
Now, here's the weird part, because the only reason I know this is because I was having I was having a conversation with some friends about this. Brandon Streeter is their quarterbacks coach. He went to Clemson and he was a quarterback at Clemson. He's been the quarterbacks coach, recruiting coordinator since 2015. So he's been there for quite some time. So I'm trying to figure out.
Well, here's where I was going with this is I don't know who to put this on.
Right.
I just know that now back-to-back quarterbacks this has happened to, Trevor being so good that it didn't matter.
Let me put this on you, because I'm one of those. I get in arguments about Eddie O, Les Miles, and people like they're overrated. I'm like, you know what? Yes, okay, they're overrated because anybody who reaches the pinnacle of your profession that not very many people reach.
Mm-hmm.
I personally can't just say that person's overrated. Some years they're better than others, but like to get to that point, especially recently when it was in a 5-year window, there's 4 active head coaches right now that have national championships. No, 5, excuse me, Mac Brown, but Mac doesn't really count.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Mac
semi-active.
You could say Mac is overrated,
He's
but Mac is in the retirement home of coaching. So there's 4 ones that we care about.
Who? Wait. Hold on. Saban, Dabo, Jimbo,
Eddie O. Oh, my bad. 5, Les Miles.
Eddie O's not active,
but he's still a coach. But I'm saying he got fired. So
wait, Les Miles isn't active.
Les Miles isn't at Kansas anymore.
Didn't Les Miles get completely canceled?
He got canceled. He did get canceled.
Yeah.
Now he deserved it. Now he canceled himself. Like, that one was a little freaky, man.
Yeah.
But my point is that it's tough to get there. But to get there, you have to have consistency. And if you don't have it at quarterback, you have to have consistency in your formula. How does Alabama do it every year? I always tell them they got great running backs, great line play, great defense year in and year out. Actually, I'd argue that they've won it with less spectacular quarterbacks. Like on a college level, Tua was more spectacular, but he won 1, right? Went to 2. The only one that won his freshman year. No, yeah.
Is that right?
Am I right about that?
I don't know.
Bottom line is, regardless, he's won a lot of championships. He won one with a quarterback that was a backup at Florida State that I don't even remember his name right now.
Is that Coker?
Yeah, Jacob Coker. Is it Jacob? Anyways, point is, who cares? We don't really know his name, and he won it with him. Dabo caught lightning in a bottle in consecutive go-rounds.
With Deshaun.
You
could say Taj Boyd.
That was when I tell people that when Florida State went and whipped their ass, that was considered the best Clemson team they had ever had at that point.
Taj Boyd was really good.
Like, yeah, it was like nobody thought that was going to happen. And then they went up there and did what they did. Again, but I bring this point up to say, if you're not Alabama, you got to have an elite quarterback, because the only other guys who did it, LSU, elite quarterback. Jimbo at FSU, elite quarterback. He don't have that right now. And I'm not saying that DJ isn't a good quarterback, but Trevor Lawrence hid a lot of your flaws. During the time when he won the first one with Deshaun Watson, they had it's hurting me to not remember his name. With the Tampa Bay Tech, well, he had 3 good wide receivers that year. And they were running that bubble screen to death, and it was still relatively new at that point. Those guys just knew how to run it. You got to have an elite concept with an elite quarterback, and he don't have that right
Here's my issue with Clemson right now is there's guys that when you get them, they're so good that really your job is to advance them, but also not to screw them up. That was Trevor. It's Deshaun. It's DJ. I put DJ in there. DJ is really stinking talented and has a skill set that very, very few people possess. What's going on with the college game right now is you have these quarterback coaches or whoever it is, and they want to have input on the biggest position in sports, but they don't know anything about it. Like they know how to scheme it up. They know how to call plays. They know how to do all that kind of stuff, but they've been coaching for 20 or 30 years and the mechanics have completely changed. The things that my college guys come back and tell me they're being told to do is unbelievable. It doesn't even make any sense. It's like this guy is dialing up 1990 mechanics, 1980 mechanics on you every Monday in a 2021 system that those mechanics don't even relate to, and forget the fact that science has proven those mechanics to be utterly wrong, right? And they're showing you videos of Joe Montana and Dan Marino taking 7-step drops with the ball by his ear. And like, if you're a dad and you're teaching, I get it, because that's what you grew up with, but these are professional coaches and they're screwing these guys up. And so if you are Dabo right now, you have to take stock and you have to go, wait a second. Okay, let me go do my own research here. And to me, it seems weird, because what I would do is I'm not even saying go talk to a quarterback coach. I'm not even saying that. Why don't you just watch the best quarterbacks in the world? Like, that's a start, and see, well, okay, where I'm telling my guy to hold the ball, is that where Aaron Rodgers and Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes and whoever else, Josh Allen, and we go on and on. Is that where he's holding the ball pre-pass? No. Okay. Well, you know what? I could be wrong on this. Okay. I keep talking about this little loop at the bottom, but wait a second. Patrick Mahomes has it, and Aaron Rodgers has it, and Josh Allen has it. And so why don't I shut the hell up? Because I obviously don't know what I'm talking about. And why don't I go educate myself instead of screwing up kids? That's screwing up my own team. Right? That doesn't seem that difficult to me, right? Let me put it in your world. If you watch the Olympics, you know a lot about sprint mechanics. But if 15 years from now, let's say you got out of the game, or your focus was something else, and you watch the Olympics and you're like, wow, the fastest people in the world are running this certain type of way, and they're all doing it. Would you think they're wrong, or would you think I need to do a little research into this?
No, I would do research. Every few years, things change. So like, you gotta like stay up to date. If I'm using, now, if it still works, then obviously you stick with it. But like, if I'm teaching the same stuff and it's obviously,
well, it could work, but it may not be the best.
No, I'm saying, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, but with the game becoming so fine-tuned, everything becoming so fine-tuned, you need to find that thing that gives you an edge. What I would do is this. And I was starting to think that this, just to use my alma mater, Mike Norvell, I was like, I look at what his quarterback at Memphis does. He does that Al Bundy thing a little bit too, where they kind of have the ball here, shot put it, recruited Chubba Purdy. I figure like, hey,
who does that?
Maybe he just likes that. Right. That's what works for his system. I'm going to go recruit the best guy who throws the way that I know how to coach, right? And become as efficient in that as possible. Or, because this was over like,
which I can tell you is not the case at Florida State, just for the record.
About a decade ago, maybe a little over that. And I just saw this. This is funny because I just saw him last Thursday. I have a friend, Dante, and we were talking about basketball. We were just talking about training, and he was like, the difference in today's kid, and it's even more prevalent now, it's not about who's the most talented anymore. It's the difference is trained and untrained. Like, when it comes to, you'll find an Anthony Richardson who didn't really get trained until his senior year, but that's also why he was a 3-star. It's few and far between. Even the 3-stars, a lot of these kids that you think are average, they're really, really good at maximizing what it is that they do. They are highly trained. Whether it come from, like, I could look at a kid, like when I look at Trevor's not a natural sprinter. But the way he picks his knees up and the way he covers ground, that means he was taught that. That's how you teach somebody how to run. Right. Natural sprinters are Cam Newton, whose legs just kind of look like they're
Anthony,
powerful.
Not a natural sprinter.
Not a natural sprinter. That's why his hamstrings are the way they are. But he's explosive as all get out. If that's the case and you can't really fine tune it, or you don't know that, you have to do what coaches used to do in the past. You talked about Spurrier, right? I don't know if he went to Nebraska, but I do know this. When Nebraska got beat by Florida State, they came to Tallahassee. And Bobby opened the doors and said, hey, this is what we do. This is how we do it. They adapted. I mean, and I'm not just talking about one coach going. I mean, they took the whole staff. Go find the quarterbacks. You may not. It didn't have to be. You may not believe Denny Thompson's the best. You might believe, who's the guy who kind of got all of this stuff real popular.
Tom House.
Tom House. Forget. You may think Tom House. Tom, I need you to come here. What are the things? Because this is what you can do. Because I tell this to parents all the time. Because even when I'm training, at most I'm not going to see you more than 4 days a week.
That's right.
I don't want to see you more than that.
Yep.
I really don't want to see you more than 2. But if I go 4 days a week for an hour, that's 4 hours. You had 168 hours in a week. I believe that's what, like, if that's 4% of your week, you're going to be doing this.
2.5.
2.5. Okay, there. You're going to be doing a lot more bad mechanics than you are going to be around me. So what I tell the parents is, like, hey, it's 3 things you can always do: knee up, cover ground, drive your arms. No matter what they're doing, coach those 3 things.
Right.
I'm pretty sure you can take UF's quarterback coach and say, hey, here's Ant, here's
no doubt.
Emory,
no
Emory.
Doubt. Yep.
Here are the 3 things that they do really, really bad that you need to keep trying to reinforce it. Here are the 3 things that he does really bad you need to keep trying to reinforce. And that you're not changing what they do. You're enhancing and making what they do better.
And I can tell you that a large percentage of colleges are doing that now. And I don't know if Clemson's doing it or not. I can tell you, I've never, ever in my life, never talked to a coach while he was at Clemson. Not one time in my life have I talked to a coach while he was at Clemson. So maybe, I mean, that's fine. Like, maybe they've got somebody else. But the majority of coaches, I believe, are doing what you're saying. It's like, I mean, I've got a great relationship, and I don't want to throw it out there, but I've got a great relationship with several colleges that I talk to on a regular basis. And it's exactly what you said. And it's both ways. They help me because I'm not in the coaching game. So I don't, like, I'll call them, be like, okay, walk me through what you guys are doing conceptually with this. Like, what is it that I need to be teaching from a read progression, from where their eyes are set? Like, what are you reading, stuff like that? Because that's not what I do. They'll see video of me and they're like, okay, what are you teaching here? Like, what is it? Because I'm looking at this drill. You're doing it for a reason. What's the point of the drill? It's just a professional relationship.
It's why I hate drills. Not like what you're doing. So I got back into coaching high school football this year. And look, I'm blessed to coach with the offensive coordinator is my son's godfather. So he knows me very well. He knows how I am. He knows my quirks, which is probably the only reason I'm coaching.
We all took one on the chin Friday. We'll get to that another time. Yeah.
I don't do a lot of running back drills.
Yeah.
It's not a lot. Like, got news for you. You can argue with me to a T. More than likely, you've probably never done it to the level that I did it or put as many kids out there. Run where they ain't.
Wait, hold on. You mean to tell me there's not cones on a football field?
There's no cones on the
Are
football
you serious?
field. There's no cones on the football field.
Wait, where's the ladder?
The ladder's not on the football
They
field.
don't play a game with cones or ladders?
I'm going to be honest with you. If you get into a situation where you have to consistently jump cut, you're in a really bad situation for your kid. I mean, like, and that's something that I can tell you from having a child who I've never done any drills with, and really his best friend is really good at this, like epic at this. That's something you got. Like, I can drill a jump cut, I can drill the spin, I can drill. When you're sprinting to a spot, for you to stop, change direction, and not know what's going on to the other side, I'm sorry. That's inherent, man. That's inherited.
We should do a show on this. We should literally take, and it should be a different show than the Sports Den. We should start to talk about myths. Right. Like false step is a myth in the quarterback world. Like, kind of what you're saying. If I have to think about something, I was quicker just to do it wrong.
The only things the only things that you can really truly in the running back game is whatever the play is, you have steps, you have a path. You have to take your path. Now, in that path, it depends on what you're doing, the blocking scheme, what the running back is. But, like, I'm going to keep your shoulders north and south type guy, or get them as quick north and south as possible so you can make the read. But at the end of the day, I can show you the steps, your vision.
Yep.
That, as my coach says, if you couldn't run, I wouldn't have recruited you. So I bring all that up to say is that a lot of these drills that you see these guys doing, like, go get your kid faster, get your kid stronger. Go get, like, those are really tangible things that you can measure. The bag drill, those are really cool things, like, to get you tired and get you in conditioning, but that's not necessarily making you a better football player. The whole
reason I went down that road is to say this. Florida State has a chance against Clemson, a game that 4 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, I would have laid 35 on
easily.
They have I don't know if they'll win. We'll get to that later in the week. I had a great week in our picks, by the way. But I don't know if they'll win, but they have as good of a chance as they have had in the last 4 years against Clemson. Maybe 5.
Clemson.
How many has Clemson won in a row?
Have they won in a row?
Against Florida State.
I think they've won every game since they won their first natty.
So it's like 7.
Yeah, like
I would say in the last 5 years, this is the best chance you guys have had.
Here's Clemson's. They've scored over 22 points once against South Carolina State.
Wow.
So
That's
the
amazing.
Georgia game was 10-3.
The worst game I've ever seen in my life.
Georgia Tech was 14-8. 14-8 Clemson. North Carolina State beat them 27-21. Boston College should have beat them 19-13. Boston College, who UMass had on the ropes, and a couple of other games. I don't know how many. I think they only have 2 FBS wins themselves. Syracuse should have beat them, and that was 17-14.
Yeah, they should have. Yeah.
Pittsburgh absolutely dominated them, and the crazy thing is each one of those games has been dominated in a different manner. Syracuse punished them on the ground. I'd argue Pittsburgh lit them up in the air.
Well, that Pitt quarterback's legit.
North Carolina State also lit them up in the air. Georgia Tech ran pretty decent on them between the quarterbacks. So, but
Jeff didn't even play in that game. By the way,
when you look at Georgia Tech, Boston College, Syracuse, Pitt to a lesser extent, all of them have quarterbacks that do have pretty strong arms, but they can also run the zone read or RPO, which has been given Clemson, who's also been injury hit, a lot of fits. So, I mean, yeah, you're right.
Here's the bad thing for y'all is now y'all got to prepare for 2 different style quarterbacks. Like you almost wish DJ would have played well enough for them not to make that move right now. Because the other kid is a completely different style.
Farrell Monk or
whatever his name is. Like that's the only thing they've got going for them. They can't seem to stop the run, which is you guys' calling card. So I think it's you've got a real chance. By the way, real quick, I watched the Virginia team for the first time because they played Georgia Tech. The quarterback's not going to play in the NFL, but bro, he is a blast to watch in college. Mm-hmm. He's really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who number 99 is for them, but he plays running back, quarterback, tight end, receiver. He plays everything. Draft that joker. He is exceptional. That was an entertaining game. So Florida State's got a chance. Who's got a better chance? Florida State against Clemson or Florida against Georgia?
Man. I said, Florida State versus Clemson. I'm not, but that's not saying I don't. Mm-hmm. I think Florida could beat Georgia. Mm-hmm. I just haven't seen anything defensively like that with Georgia.
Right. You're more talking about Clemson and Georgia than you are Florida State, Florida when you say that.
Yeah, Georgia's just that damn good.
They're unreal.
Doesn't mean that I don't think Florida could do it. They did it last year. But like this ain't the Clemson I've grown to know. And
on either side.
Yeah, like I don't recognize these guys.
What about, okay, let me ask this. Who runs out and takes the first snap and who takes the majority of the snaps for the Florida Gators on Saturday?
Emory.
Both?
The first and majority.
I agree with you. And I have no inside information at all, so don't hit me with that.
And I'm going to tell you, for the same reasons that right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm just trying to think.
We're not saying that's who should.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like Mullen, like in that situation, in that game, in that environment, in a traditional world, typically the veteran guy gives you that's been there more, gives you more experience. I don't think that
you're giving Mullen way more credit than I am.
I don't think that's right, but I also think, as you people love to say, Mullen is a stubborn asshole.
Yes.
And I think that's the reason why he's going to do it.
I think the only reason why 5 does it is because Mullen's so stubborn. Like, that's the only reason why I believe that that's going to be the case. Now, I think he'll have a very quick hook on him. If it's not moving, he won't even have to turn it over. If it's not moving, he'll go to Anthony. But I think Gator Nation thinks that this is the start of the Anthony Richardson era as a starter. I don't think that's going to be the case. In fact, if you made me bet one way or the other, I don't think Anthony Richardson starts a game this year. Unless, injury happened or something like that. I think this is Emory Jones' team, and Dan Mullen has been with that, and this is the last game on their schedule that's, considered you're an underdog, right? So I feel like if once he gets through this one, he's not going to make that switch. That's not going to happen. He's going to be right. And that's his history there. I do believe that Florida can make this a much better game. Everybody talked about this was going to be a 21, 24-point spread. I was like, if it's that, then I'm going to put a stack down. And it's not. It's 13. And that's about where I thought it would land, because Florida's style of offense is one unlike Georgia has seen, and can give people problems because they don't have to block number 99. They can read him. They don't have to block Jordan Davis. They can read him.
Right.
My bigger concern is not as good as Georgia's defense is. I have faith in Dan Mullen that he's going to have a game plan to move the ball. I don't think that Florida can stop Georgia's offense, who's not that good, but they line up and run straight down your throat, and that's what Florida can't stop. Like, my bigger concern is Florida's defense against Georgia's offense, and I don't really care. I hope JT plays, because then they'll feel like they have to throw the ball.
Right.
But if Stetson Bennett's out there and they're just going to hand off 65 times, there ain't a damn thing Florida can do about that.
That's true. What can you answer this question for me? Why did they stop running the ball so much, or is it that just my perception?
I think a little bit your perception, just a little bit. You got to remember they were down by 14 or 21 against LSU.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
so they had to get.
Yeah,
because it just seemed like this kid was just
the whole team
it out, like
the whole team, and that's going to be the case. That's the biggest endorsement for Anthony to play, because if Anthony's in as a defense, you have to show your intentions early.
Right. I'm gonna be honest with you. If Anthony's there, I'm stopping Anthony.
Right.
He ain't running on me.
Right.
The other kids, yeah, God bless. Because right now, so Emory Jones leads the team in rushing with 494 yards. Mm-hmm. Anthony's number 2 with 348.
It's crazy.
And 3 touchdowns.
And how many less attempts?
A tremendous amount.
Yeah.
28 for 348.
Jesus
Christ. Wow. Okay. All right. This right here completely changes my whole. So Emory Jones is a fullback that can throw. 85 attempts, 400. He's 5.8 yards.
Which is good.
Carry.
It's not bad.
Right. For a tailback.
Right.
Yeah. I don't want my quarterback.
And the guy behind him is what, 12 an attempt?
12.4, yeah. And then Davis, the guy who's supposed to run the ball, is 5.4, and then Pierce. Okay, so they've ran it. Well, I mean, I don't really.
It's running back by committee.
Yeah, I don't really know how to count quarterback, because some of that could be just scrambles, breakdowns. Some of them is designed runs. Like, I want my running backs to run the ball. Call me crazy.
Not if you got 15.
Well, no, it's different. Yeah. Now, I want him in there. I want him to dictate the same. Not comparing, but the same way I know Jordan Travis, the run game goes through Jordan Travis. You have to account for him and his speed. But it's like, but I still would love for him to, like, hey, if it comes down to it, 0 or 8. Like, let's let them, the guys whose body type we recruited, to take the punishment. Or if we lose one of those, all lives matter, trust me. But I'm just saying, if we lose one of those, we can get another one. Like, you keep 10 running backs on or however many running backs you need on your roster for a reason. You only keep 3 to 4 quarterbacks. You lose one of those, man, it changes your whole world. But
hey, let's real quick, because I got a little bit of mini hate o'clock. So let's get to Green Acres. GreenAcresSporting.com. Get to Green Acres. It's hunting season. So you need to get there. If you hunt, you need to get there. Bows, they have muskets, as James said. We think
whatever it is, it
ARs.
Like they definitely have AR-15s.
They have AR-12s. They have pistols. They have shotguns. They have fishing gear. They have boots. They have coolers. They have knives. They literally they have concealed weapon classes 6 days a week.
With a guy who's
Disney World
with a guy whose name I don't know and doesn't like to take pictures.
I would suggest not taking his picture.
He knows how to use a gun.
Yeah, I would stay away from that. It is literally Disney World for the Second Amendment. That's what it is over off of Normandy Boulevard. You need to get over to Green Acres or go to greenacresporting.com. Patrick Mahomes. The talk today,
Kermit the Frog,
and yesterday is what's wrong with Kansas City? What's wrong with Patrick Mahomes? By the way, that hit he took, that hurt to watch. Patrick Mahomes is really good, and that's an understatement. Really good. The NFL is really hard. Okay. We talked about Tom Brady earlier, and you don't appreciate greatness when you're in it. You appreciate greatness after it leaves you, right? And you were going to look back at what Tom Brady has done now with two different teams, and you're going to realize at some point that you may never see this again in your lifetime. So everybody had put Patrick Mahomes in that Tom Brady, like he's carrying the torch, and we see this in basketball all the time. People have been doing that since the very start of the league. If you go back, Elgin Baylor and Pistol Pete and all the way up to Michael Jordan and now Kobe and LeBron and yada, yada, yada. The NFL, I believe, is the hardest job in the world. Because what's happening is you get really good at something, and then people who are paid a lot of money have the sole focus in an off season to figure out how to stop you. Like, what do we do to stop this person if you're good enough? And that's why what Lamar is doing is very impressive to me, because I was one that thought, okay, at some point they're going to figure him out. And I still think at some point they will. And it may be when he loses a step. But that's what's happening with Patrick Mahomes is the Tampa Bay film set a blueprint of keep him in the pocket, don't let him run around. And in the back half, keep everything in front of you. Just keep it in front of you. Make him take the 5 yards to 7 yards. And then you put that together with he doesn't have an offensive line that's all that fantastic. Right. And now there's a bunch of people saying, well, is he even a top 5 quarterback anymore with Kyler Murray? Like, there's 32 of these guys. And I know that everybody likes to go, well, I could make that throw. And you absolutely, positively could not. Okay. A 5 yard out on the NFL, there's maybe 1% of you listening, watching that could make it even without a pass rush. Even if it was just single coverage, just one-on-one, like you absolutely could not. It is so hard to do. James has talked about it at the fullback position. Then you take that and put it at the hardest position in sports, the quarterback, where everybody's designed to. It's so stinking hard.
Not just to make the throw. You know, it's like a lot of people discount this because it's your job. It's hard to make the catch. Like, you have to gauge, like, if you're throwing across the body, like, you have to gauge where the ball is released at, the velocity, where you're going to, the timing of, like, a lot of this stuff that people just take for granted
because it looks easy.
Because, like, just imagine you're running, it just went a straight line. Having the time when you jump, dive out, or something like that. Imagine it's coming across somebody's body, across the field
at 60-something miles an hour,
over other individuals that are blocking stuff. Like, sometimes you only see it when it's in your peripheral, and God forbid you have terrible eyesight like me.
So we have this rule at 6 Points of dads are not allowed to catch, because every now and then we'll get the dads like, oh, I'll catch. We're not gonna bring a receiver. I'll catch. No, you're not, sir. Like, you're not, because I can tell you if Jeff or Anthony or Carson or Gardner or somebody, like, you're not going to catch that ball. Like, you're going to end up with a bloody nose because they make it look easy. But that ball's coming. You talk about the first time Drew Brees threw a ball to you.
And his arm was considered weak.
Right. I mean, it is incredibly difficult. It is okay to question what is wrong with Patrick Mahomes. It's just when I hear some of these, Dan Orlovsky gets on my nerves sometimes, but I will say this. He is the most prepared of just about anybody on TV. Listen to what he says when he talks about our quarterback's done or they're having a hard time. Like, he broke down the Justin Fields thing today beautifully as to why he was turning it over. But when I hear Stephen A. Smith say, stop. This is an incredibly difficult thing. It's fair to question him, but Patrick Mahomes is not done. Patrick Mahomes is not close to done. Patrick Mahomes will get to another Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes will be just fine. That person on the other side of the ball, they got a blueprint from Tampa and is now playing defense the right way. Well, now Patrick Mahomes is paid $50 million a year to figure out what he can do against that. He will figure it out.
Well, somebody
with his dancing brother on the sideline.
Right. Which is,
he did it again this week.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I think, like, somebody asked me what's wrong with Pat. And I said, he has the wrong people around him.
There's no doubt. We said that during the Super Bowl.
And I'm not just talking about his brother. So before you constantly get on me, his wife too. She's everybody. People say money changes you. It doesn't. Money changes the people around you, and that's a perfect example right now of what's going on in his life. Every week, we ain't talking about just Patrick Mahomes and his awful performance. We're talking about awful performances of everybody last name Mahomes, and that's just not a good look. But going back to him and keeping it on him, I read something, and they were saying he's fallen into the trap that Aaron Rodgers fell into for a couple of years, feeling like he has to make the amazing play every time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once he realizes it's okay to take the 5 to 7 yard and just stay here, he'll realize that teams will have to shift, which will give him the ability to do what he was able to do. It's almost what happened with Michael Vick at the later part of his career when he lost his athleticism. So the same thing that we're talking about people figuring out Lamar Jackson, it's really what he has the capability to do. He's just not Lamar. Like, he has a better overall skill set than Lamar Jackson in theory. He's just not as fast as him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if he can just sit in the pocket, that's what if Lamar's going to play 20 years or 10 years, that's what he's going to have to figure out too. But to say he's lost it is ridiculous. But it goes back to what people were saying last year when people were saying people were getting on Jameis for all the interceptions that he threw. And some of those a lot of those interceptions weren't his fault.
2 years
ago.
ago.
2 years ago, excuse me. A lot of them weren't. But people said the last 2 years, he's led the league in dropped interceptions. Eventually, it doesn't matter what the defense is. People ain't going to keep dropping the interceptions. Right. They're going to eventually catch them. They're paid a lot. And the league is meant on making turnovers. So it happens. People
I would suggest
have good
also,
years. People have bad years.
I would suggest also there's too many home run hitters on that team. Like, as we're talking about this, you think about their lineup, they've gone after speed and speed alone.
Mm-hmm.
And speed's hard to run a 5 yard out with.
So what really changed the game and opened it up was Randy Moss.
Yep.
But people don't give the real reason that offense worked enough credit. The other Hall of Famer, Chris Carter.
Yep.
Like, he basically walked so Randy could run.
Yep.
You knew that, okay, I'm looking at Randy. I'm going to look down.
Yep.
I know somebody's going to be at the first down. All he did was catch first downs and touchdowns. That's all Chris Carter was. Reliable. He was going to be at the sticks. Great person for you. A great number 2. And that's what a lot of teams don't. Even the Ravens, they have a number 1 that's a burner, a 2 that's a burner, a 3 that's a burner, but you need your number 2 has to be a true number 2, like a perfect person for this offense. Allen Robinson, because I never believe Allen Robinson is number 1, and that's not a disrespect to him. It's just he doesn't have the wheels to be that. But him around the sticks, the 50-50 ball, when you're like in a bind, you just got like perfect for this system.
Yep.
Or Baltimore.
Yep.
But I just
good news, Jags fans. All we have are guys that can run 5 yard out. So
right, that's it. It helps. That's why Trevor's in the pocket forever. That's why I say the line ain't as bad as what people think. The other thing too is what we're seeing now is I joked about it once I turned 30. I think it was 30. Whatever. My athleticism was there one day, and then one day it just disappeared. Yep. Don't know what happened to it, and you're seeing that because and the only reason I know this is because I have a friend I literally pick on every opportunity I get because he made the dumbest comment I've ever heard in sports arguments. And it's not that Xavier Howard isn't a good cornerback.
Oh, geez, we're back on this again.
No, but I had to go back and we were just discussing this stuff, and I was like, wow, he legit like over the last 4 years, he leads the NFL in interceptions. He's legit really, really good. Except for this year, the drop off has been tremendous. Patrick Mahomes. If you get targeted at cornerback, if you lead the league in interceptions, you know what that means? They're targeting you.
Yeah. Which
means eventually, if they're not afraid of throwing at you, you're going to get dunked on. If you lead the league in dropped interceptions, eventually that's going to happen. So it looks, what I'm saying is, even with Xavier Howard, it looks worse than what it probably really is. And once they get it figured out, they'll go right back to.
Will they make the playoffs this year?
I think, they'll be at 8. I'm not. I mean, they'll be a wild card team.
I don't know, man. I don't know. The AFC is so loaded.
Something San Diego. My bad. No. Because Oakland. No matter what whatchamacallit tried to do, I almost called him Paul Tagliabue. Goodell's tried to do. The Raiders are still good.
I know. I mean, you look at the Titans.
So they may not be able to get out of there. Like they're not taking 3 from one division.
No, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like they have to really turn it around. The AFC is absolutely stacked.
Because they'll get to AFC. The AFC North will get to.
I'm pulling it up now. I'm pulling up the records now because I was looking at this last night when I was looking at fantasy. And it was like, holy cow, there's so many good AFC teams. Let me go to the standings real quick. AFC. Yeah, the Titans are 5-2. You got the Bills, Raiders, Chargers. That's just in their division. So the Raiders are at 5-2, Chargers are at 4-2, the Chiefs are at 3-4 right now. And then you got Cincinnati and Baltimore, both at 5-2. Cleveland at 4-3. They're gonna have to go on a run, is the bottom line. Like if the playoffs started today, they wouldn't just be out; they'd be good and out, wouldn't they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, they'd be the first team out at 3-4. We see it every year, though. I mean, every year, usually in the NFL, Super Bowl team the next year is not very good. Like it's just really hard. Yeah. It's really hard to be good every year.
But I got one hated clock real quick.
Okay.
Just vibe, homie. Just vibe.
I don't know what that is. You can tell me.
I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
It seems every weekend, some fan of a sorry team or a team that's been not underperforming decides to wake up and put on the cape for their university, their basketball team, no matter what it is, and say, after a good performance has happened, don't be a fan later. Or see, this is what we're doing, blah, blah, blah. And then attack other people in the fan base. Like, I just want you to know they don't see that. You're not going to get an extra, you're not going to get points on your season ticket package. They're not going to give you a cookie. They're not going to invite you to the field. What you need to do is just relax and enjoy. And my problem is, and what I was telling people, it's not even 24 hours. Like it was Florida State. It was a little bit after the Jags win. I'm like, yo, let me have this. Like, let me savor it. Give me 24 hours before you start acting like Maximus and Gladiator.
Who made you the authority to determine who the fan is or not anyway?
Right. Like, you're a person behind a computer or on an iPhone 5 making comments just like the rest of us, except for nobody knows your name. It's like you and your 500 followers just relax.
Well, it just chill. Anything to do with followers.
No, what I'm saying is no. The followers don't have anything.
I feel like you're getting personal in this.
No, what they're doing is.
I feel like if we look up to who you're talking about, he has 502 followers.
No, one of the people who just made me post it, like he actually has a good follow.
Okay, I just want to make sure you're not getting like.
My point is that
because you have 500 followers and your name is Bob, and you went to
Jesus. No, my point is that you're waking up and you're trying to preach a message to the people who follow you for whatever reason to try. Like it's really not that big of a deal. Like again, it goes back to what sports are about. Sports have always been kind of political or to have their say in some things, but it really is an outlet. And when you've been losing so much, to finally be able to win, to be how miserable of a person must you be to not be able to just say, man, this felt really good.
Yeah.
So immediately, not 3 days later, you just want an hour after it. Don't you come cheering us on now. Don't be a fan later. Like, no, shut up. Let us all bask in the ambience of this win. Smile. I welcome bandwagoners. I welcome. If you didn't like it, whatever, or if you didn't like me before because I said we stunk and I had some things, and now we're winning, high five to you, Barnum.
Exactly.
Like, let's make peace. Yeah. Like, I don't want to fight and argue all the time about a game. Like, because I haven't made one tackle. I ain't ran nobody over. I haven't made a catch. I haven't done anything. But the only investment I have is my season tickets, my booster membership for the most part, and a couple hours that I spent watching that game. And when I watched that game, I was watching it hoping that a win would happen.
Mm-hmm.
And when the win doesn't happen, I'm only mad because I was hoping that the win would happen. And when they win, I'm happy. So, like, if you're hoping a win, you should be happy and just stick with that.
Just take a deep breath and enjoy.
Just for at least 24 hours.
Just be present. Just enjoy the moment.
Imagine Florida wins a national championship and Dan and them guys tell you to come down and somebody said, not. Remember what you said.
You can't do that. Sir.
Dude, no matter what you think you said, I'm up here. They know me. They don't know you. Why are you fighting so hard for the honor? Oh gosh,
that recruiting budget stuff. Like, we gotta get into that. We gotta get into that Wednesday. Like, because that came perfect. I needed that last week, but that was perfect timing. You got anything else? We good?
No, that's it. I'm good.
All right, I gotta get to the facility. Got Joseph Gatewood coming in.
Nice.
Today. Yeah.
Tell him what's up.
Made a quick day trip. Go to humidor.com for any cigar needs. Like, it's that time of year where it's nice to sit outside, no humidity at night. Just sit out there, smoke your cigar like James does. Get to the humidor.com for all your cigar needs. Type in sportsden, all lowercase, all one word. You'll get 20% off of your order. And at some point you get free shipping. We think it's $100, but we're not sure. But sportsden, all lowercase, all one word. We will talk to you guys on Wednesday. Have a great day.